The entire conversation of the past 8 years has been dominated by pro Trump, anti Trump. Are you for Trump? Are you against Trump? Do you like Trump? Do you not like Trump? And the Democratic Party has gone all in on being, well, of course, being anti Trump, but more than that, becoming almost a cult of vitriolic hatred for the president and candidate, now president again. Now, what's missing from this conversation is any real discussion about issues. Look, for example, at Iran. We'll get to this a little bit later in the program. But you had people at one point, because Trump opposed bombing and intervention in the war, call for bombing and intervention in Iran by the US. And the minute that Trump did it, there was an abrupt turnaround. And the very same people on the very same networks a week later, literally claiming that this was the biggest mistake ever, et cetera, et cetera. Now, what does this have to do with democratic socialism? Well, it's a great question, because here's what we've got. Since we haven't, for the better part of 8 years, 9 years, had a real discussion about anything other than Orange Man bad, there are real issues out there for which solutions have not been offered. And I have right now, I want to say this to every single person who is older than me. Let's say you are, for example, a boomer. You're a baby boomer, and you hate Trump. Everything you see is based on how bad Trump is, what Trump, has or hasn't done, how America is worse off under Trump. And unbeknownst to you, you're probably a Democrat, by the way, if you think that, but it's okay. Unbeknownst to you, a creeping majority of your party, or certainly plurality of your party, is beginning to identify with an ideology that has set its sights on everything that you have. Let me put this another way. Across America, there are people in their 60s, 70s, 80s who get on Facebook every day and rant about Trump, who are obsessed with Trump, who talk nothing about how terrible Trump is, who vote Democrat. They don't care who they vote for, as long as it's a Democrat opposed to Trump. That's their level of political involvement, discourse, and overall just, of belief. And meanwhile, they don't realize that within their Democratic Party that they have been a part of their entire lives, have given money to, etc., have voted for all the candidates, that there is a significant number of people that look at these older Americans and resent the fact that they have their home, own it free and clear, that they bought their home for $120,000, that they talk like this openly, that these people have it made in the shade, have pensions, are able to afford groceries, have been able to attain the American dream. The reality is that a significant number of young people have not been able to, or do not believe that they ever will be able to, crack into success. And by the way, I think there's a number of factors for this, and top of it, of course, is the indoctrination that we see at universities and people getting useless degrees and being steered into a life, of burdened by ridiculous college debt for the purposes of just getting a degree that ends up being meaningless. And we could go on and on what the causes are, but they resent you, is my point. They resent me, but they resent some of you out there who have been focused, I would say obsessed, with hatred and vitriol for Trump. Meanwhile, there's a whole group of people inside your own party that's coming after you with pitchforks. When I hear this Mamdani guy talk, when I hear AOC talk, and I'm not talking about when AOC goes on CNN or MSNBC, but when she holds some of her smaller rallies, I mean, these are the same exact things that up-and-coming politicians at the end of World War II said in countries like Czechoslovakia to adoring fans, got people riled up, and ultimately resulted in ushering an age dominated by murderous regimes across the Eastern Bloc. It'll happen pretty quick.